Hi everyone, in this final video, I'm going to provide some information about why creating balcony wildlife habitats is so important. In order to convey this information, I want to first talk about ecosystem services, and these are the ecological characteristics, functions, or processes that directly or indirectly contribute to human well-being. That is, the benefits that humans derive from functioning ecosystems. This can be broken down further into four major categories, which are supporting, provisioning, regulating, and cultural services. Many of the services we're supporting with our balcony may not have direct or immediate benefits to us, but are helping to support ecosystems and the environment as a whole. So first things first, we're going to start with provisioning services. These are any and all raw materials that support human needs that come from nature. In our space, some of the main wildlife we're hoping to support are pollinators, which are crucial for the production of food. Many of these pollinators are at risk of extinction because of the use of pesticides and the loss of their natural host plants and native environments. So, by creating safe spaces for bees and butterflies, we are helping to ensure that we will have pollinators in the future, and therefore that we will have food in the future. Plus, if you are growing your own food on your balconies or any herbal medicine like I am, you can have pollinators supporting your crop production, and they're going to ensure that you actually have food produced on your balcony. On top of food and medicine on our balcony, one of the other provisioning services that we're looking at is birds that are used for seed dispersal. We have to be a little bit cautious on this one, though, because we don't necessarily want the birds to be distributing the seeds that we're feeding them in additional feeders. So while we are giving them food on our balcony, that is then helping them to go out into the environment and disperse more natural seeds further beyond just what we are feeding them. Moving on to regulating services, which are the processes in nature that keep our environment safe for us to survive within. So, one of the biggest things that we are helping to do by having increased greenery on our balconies, it's not just supporting wildlife and providing shelter and flowers and all of that good stuff, which is great, but it also can absorb carbon from the environment. And as most of us know, we're looking for any ways to store carbon out of the air and in other ways. So increased green spaces on balconies, less carbon in the atmosphere. On top of this carbon storage, green spaces also help with temperature regulation and can help offset the urban heating effect. And with the temperature spikes that have been hitting Seattle in most recent years, any help keeping those temperatures a little bit more regulated in the summer is definitely welcome. Another regulating service that we are helping to support with our balconies is pest control. As I said in video 1, attracting insects to our spaces is also providing food for bats, birds, and other insect species. They are helping then to control the larger pest species like mosquitoes and aphids, again, outside of just our balcony spaces. As far as cultural services, these are the inspiration, connection, or relaxation that we feel in nature. There's a really wide range of cultural services that could be linked to your balcony habitat. Some of the key ones that I have found come from the mental health benefits that come from observing nature, listening to bird songs, caretaking the environment and wildlife, mindfulness, which you practice if you're doing your inquiry or you're just sitting in your balcony, very present. Gardening is shown to decrease cortisol levels. So lots and lots of good mental health support that comes from this project. Being intentional with your space and plant choices can significantly reduce stress levels. I know it has for me. I've got a few research articles linked below that also have found the same. Also, by taking action and creating balcony wildlife habitats, you can feel incredibly empowered, and it can help you feel like you're capable of actually doing something to help the environment. Sometimes it can feel impossible to deal with just how scary climate change can be and the loss of biodiversity can be. and we can feel a little powerless. But taking these actions and making these changes can have a huge effect, and it can cause ripples. So many people have seen my balcony and have asked, hey, how can I do that? Why is this? And have started creating their own balcony habitats. So by creating that ripple effect, you can have even a broader impact than just your little space. You can help it to grow. And then kind of going a little bit backwards, but supporting services, these are what is kind of underlaying the other three. So beneath your provisioning, regulating, and cultural services, you have supporting services. There are two main supporting services that we are really helping with our wildlife balcony habitats. So the first one is wildlife corridors. These are habitable pathways through urban environments where wildlife can find support. They're especially crucial in big cities where wildlife can be hindered by landscapes that are just completely blocked out by buildings and roads. By creating habitats in the buildings and on our balconies, we are providing many migratory species of birds and insects with a safe place that they can travel through when they're moving from breeding sites to wintering sites and vice versa. The other big thing that we are helping to support on our balcony habitats is biodiversity. Biodiversity is the building block of resilient and functional ecosystems and is facing huge losses globally. The most broad sense, biodiversity is the diversity of life within an ecosystem. It's also deeply rooted in the web of life and responsible for the adaptability and success of an environment. For those who remember making food and energy webs in school, you could probably think of biodiversity as how many individual points you have on your food web that are then connected to other points, whether energy is going in or out. And the more of those points we have, the greater diversity and variety of those points, the stronger that web is going to be. And that web is going to also be able to maintain its shape and function, even if some of those points fall away. That's the gist of why we need biodiversity, is our ecosystem will still stand even if we lose a few points. If we lose a lot of those points and we don't have a good variety, that's when we're looking at ecosystem collapse. Biodiversity is a huge topic, and I've actually linked a video down in the description where Sir David Attenborough discusses biodiversity on a more broad scale. I would encourage you to watch that video, and as you do, try and reflect on how creating your balcony wildlife habitat is supporting some of the initiatives that David Attenborough talks about. So final thoughts as we're wrapping up this main series of videos. The biggest piece of advice that I can give you is ask questions and stay curious. Reach out to master gardeners, the National Wildlife Federation, nursery employees, the Washington Native Plant Society. Ask for more information. Feel free to send me an email. I'll try and get back to you and answer what questions I can. Ask volunteers at events or tabling opportunities for suggestions or guidance. That's where almost all of my information came from. But keep asking questions, and that will help you find what works best for you, your space, the environment, and wildlife around you. Just remember, even if you only have one hummingbird come and stop by your feeder or one butterfly coming and exploring your flowers, you helped that one creature with your balcony habitat. It made a difference for that one organism, and now it can go out into the greater environment and fulfill its ecological role with safety and support. That's all we're trying to do. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have questions.